How beautiful is it? My TikTok FYP has been feeding me a lot of content about how to dress like your Venus sign. And as someone who loves learning about astrology, I thought that this was quite interesting. So I decided that I would make an outfit based on my Venus sign. So my Venus sign is in Cancer. Actually, fun fact, I have 4 Cancers in my chart, so I have a Cancer stellium. So I saw this video on TikTok.
The secret to looking hotter is just dressing like your Venus sign, so here's how to dress like a Cancer Venus, and yes, I did also include tomboy outfits.
And it's probably one of the most in-depth video about this topic, and she actually has a series on how to dress like a Venus sign. So based on her video,
Cancer Venus fashion as dreamy, cozy, romantic, and a little moody, but we'll talk about that.
She goes into a lot more details into like specific Cancer aesthetics, but today we will be going for a very romantic Cancerian aesthetic. So I'll be making a 2-piece set, and for the skirt, I'm thinking about a satin wrap skirt with ruffles or kind of like a flounce at the ends. And for the top, I'm going to be making a cami top that has kind of like a sheer detail. For the main fabric, it will be this dusty blush pink satin. I am actually not entirely sure if I have enough of this, but we will see. For the sheer part and the flounce part, I actually bought multiple chiffon fabric online just to see what color actually matches this. So I have gotten 4 different. I think the beige one is out. It's a little bit too orangey, so that is definitely out. And actually, I was also thinking if I could layer the sheer fabrics over each other just to create kind of like a more dimensional look. So I'll be starting out with a mock-up first, just to kind of like see if I actually have enough fabric for how much I'm making. So we will get started on the skirt first. I have all my measurements written on my planner, so I'm just gonna follow this exactly. There's a very important thing that I forgot to say, was that this entire skirt pattern is by Emma Crane. Her video is extremely detailed, so if you want to know how to make a wrap skirt, go watch her video. So here's the mock-up so far, and yes, I cut the front flap wrongly, so that's why the front flap is not a satin fabric. But it doesn't matter, it's just a mock-up anyway. Right now, the front flap is going straight down. I kind of want it to open a little bit to the side. And I think I need a little bit more ease on the hip portion, because essentially it's pulling back the seam, so you can see it just goes back and down. So I'm thinking if I increase the hip width, I think it would be a bit better, and then the inner flap would go diagonally out, so a little bit more similar to the reference. I have just cut the angles for the skirt, and I'm thinking that this flap might be a little bit too open, so I think in the actual one, I'm just not going to slope it so much. Yeah, but I think I'm going to base this mock-up and mark it out on the paper pattern. So I don't know, I don't have enough paper, and then I'm going to calculate the total width of the bottom of the skirt and calculate how much flounce I need. So I've already pinned the side seams, but I'm realizing that I think I'm gonna do the waistband first, and that's because I don't really want the tie to go like do a full wrap around. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to attach one tie that is sticking out from the side seam with the inner panel, so that when the outer panel closes, you can tie at the side. And then for the inside of the inner panel, I'm going to add a buttonhole so that when I wear the skirt, I'm just going to button the inner panel to the outer panel so that it won't slide around. So I don't really want the tie to go like a full circle around my waist, because I feel like that might be a little bit uncomfortable. And with the satin fabric, I don't really want to risk my skirt falling off and the ribbon getting loose. So I feel like for security, I think I am more comfortable with the button method and then a fake tie around here so I can tie the front panel to the side. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna cut out all the waistband. I don't want the waistband to be too thick, so maybe about 2.5 cm waistband should suffice. Then that also means I probably need to interface my waistband as well. So yeah, I'm gonna get that done. So I'm gonna be using this really old button that I already have at home for the inner flap, and I'm just gonna do two because it's such a small button. I'm afraid that it might fall when I'm like moving around. So I'm gonna do two side by side, and yeah. Okay, so I'm done with the skirt, sort of. So I'm just left with the hem and the flounces at the bottom. But basically the wrap part is done. I've kind of marked out where I want the buttonhole to go and also where the button will sit. I have this like weird, I don't know if you can see, I have this like weird water stain here, but it wouldn't go away, so I don't know what stain this is. I'm a bit annoyed. I hope it can be washed off. But anyway, I just need to test out the buttonhole first, and then I am going to sew this on. So I marked my buttonhole, but it's too, I didn't expect the buttonhole to be so long, so it's too far into the corner, so I'm gonna seam rip the buttonhole and move it back. So yeah, I'm just doing that right now. Oh my god, guys, why does this keep happening to me? This is wrong again. Look at this, it's wrong again. It's too high up. This is possibly the 5th try on this. I'm so annoyed. Buttonhole is done. So just a little update. This is the skirt so far. It is a little bit precarious. This area is gaping a little bit too much when I walk. The moment I lift up my legs, like I'm just exposed already. And the button placement is a little bit too tight, so I'm just gonna loosen that a little bit. So I'm just gonna add a snap button just so that it doesn't like open up too much when I'm walking. And I'm also thinking of adding this like white lace to the inner flap so that there is a little bit more coverage. But I don't know if adding the lace with the flounce will be a little bit too much, but I think it should be fine. I am thinking of only adding it to the inner flap only, though. I'm not gonna add it to the outside because I think it might be a little bit too much if I have like 2 lace flaps going on. So I'm just gonna add it as a detail on the inner flap. Yeah, just so that I don't flash myself. So yeah. So it is the next day, and I basically finished the lace part of the skirt, and it looks pretty good. At least I'm not like kind of flashing to everyone, and I guess I feel like the lace does kind of like block out a bit of the, it's like a modesty panel almost. So I think this is good. So now I'm going to work on the flounce, and I've already marked out the measurements on like a spare piece of chiffon, and we will work on that. Okay. I hope you can see this. This is the flounce, and I think it works. I feel like this fabric might be a little bit too, like, it's not stiff enough for it to flare out, but I actually think this color works. You know, I was actually maybe thinking maybe I will layer these two colors instead of the beige, and I think this is pretty cute too. So this is the dress at the moment, I mean the skirt, but I'm not entirely feeling this pink, so I am changing my mind and I am going to go back to the original fabric that I wanted to use, which is something that's a little bit closer to the skirt, because I feel like it just has like too many colors, so I think I should just tone it back down with this. So it's been a few days. I had a couple of work stuff to sort out the last 2 days, so I didn't really get a chance to work on this. So the skirt has been hanging, and I've noticed that the flounces are flouncing a little bit more in a way, as in like it's not really sitting as flat as on the day that I sewed it in. I was actually a little bit concerned because on the day that I sewed it in, I tried it on, I was worried that it was looking a little bit too flat, like it wasn't flouncing enough. So now that it's set in a little bit more, that I am feeling a little bit better about this. But there is just one thing that I do need to get fixed, which is actually this part of the skirt. So it's just sitting really funnily. So I'm thinking now I might have to actually seam rip the French seam and then bring the side seams inwards a little bit. Okay, so I have fixed this part of the skirt, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to shorten the hem a little bit so that the front matches the back a little bit more, but I still want to keep it slightly asymmetrical, so I'm not going to level it perfectly. So baby steps for baby hem. Probably my least favorite part, because I'm so afraid that I will cut the fabric underneath. So it's the next day, and today I'm going to be working on the top. The first option I was thinking of would be kind of like the drawstring top, similar to the reference that I showed. The second idea would be like a tie front top, like this. I'm leaning more towards the tie front top because I already just made a drawstring front top previously, so I didn't want to kind of like repeat. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to actually make my own bodice block. I'm scraping the bodice block. It is a lot of work. I think it's just easier for me to pattern hack the original pattern that I already have. So I know the importance of having a bodice block, but I'm not in the mental capacity to do it right now. So I just did the first mock-up. I didn't really include the straps because I actually forgot to include the straps, but basically this is like how it's fitting. I mean, like it's just like that. So I want this part to be a little bit smaller. I'm just gonna make changes to the paper pattern to reduce the length of this a little bit. So everything is kind of a mess right now, and I've just done my second boka, remembering to add the straps this time. The straps won't be halter, it's just that I was too lazy to attach it to the back. But anyway, this is how it looks like at the moment, and I am quite liking the shape, so I'm gonna keep this. I think this mock-up is great, so I'm gonna keep this. And then what I need to do is I need to add on like a lot of length in the back. So I'm just gonna add in like 10 cm or so. Here's the mocha. I've already attached the bottom part, but I haven't sewn it down yet, and I don't think there is really a need to. I am quite happy with this. Basically, I just did like a half handkerchief skirt. So I think this is perfectly fine right now, and I think I'm going to start cutting the pieces for the actual top.
So maybe I should explain a little bit about how I actually hacked the pattern. Basically, I shortened the middle section. I also reduced the bust curve since the middle scrunch is now smaller. And for the lining, I also reduced the length of the center. Then I sewed 2 basting stitches in the middle so that I can gather the center front.
I just made a very stupid mistake, which is that I sewed on my straps on the wrong side. So I guess this is an indicator that I'm very tired and my brain is no longer functioning. I'm just gonna call it a day right now and continue with this on another day. But the next time I work on this, I think I will be done with the top. I'm very excited to see how this will turn out. So I completely forgot that I needed to film, but basically what I have done so far is I have changed the straps, so now the straps are on the correct side, and I have also attached the lining to the shell piece. There is some renovation going on outside, so if you can hear it, that's probably why. I have also understitched the seam to the lining. So that's what I've done so far. So right now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to flip it over, okay, and finding the center point to center point, I am going to put a pin here. So what I'm gonna do is I am actually going to sew a small portion from here to here, so that when I am attaching the flounce here, it will leave a gap here. So now I've just attached my flounce piece to my bust piece, so I am going to French seam it, and hopefully it all turns out well. I'm hoping the sound is a little bit better because I closed the windows. Next is I am going to start working on the back bodice piece, which essentially is just a rectangle, and I'm gonna mark the center first because I know that's where I will eventually be cutting in half. Now that I'm thinking if I want to do like ribbons in the back instead. Just a thought. How beautiful is it? It's so nice. Like, what the heck? This is insane. I can't believe I did it.
Okay, so I made this like ribbon thingy, and I was actually trying to figure out for the longest time how to hem the raw edges. So what I did was I just folded it in once, just zigzag stitch on the edge. So I don't know if you can see, there is a little, like, it's just like that, and then I'm just gonna trim this off as close to the stitches as possible. I'm thinking if I should do one big thick extension, either with this fabric or with the satin fabric, to do a very big ribbon at the back. So instead of two thicker tie, I will do one big one and then just kind of like flare out at the end. My camera died last night and I've gone ahead to actually sew in the adjustable straps, and after that I just called it a day. I'm wearing the top right now and I do not like the tie back, unfortunately. So just let me show you how it's looking like right now. So I love how it looks in the front. The front looks great. The back looks great. But if I were to look from the side, it just feels like there's too many things going on. There's like the tie at the back and then there's the tie at the front. So I have made the decision to change the back closure to a button closure instead. So after I've sewn in the button, I can finally hem the top, and then we will cut to the review.